What frustrates me so much, you guys, is yes, we could always use more content. I do think there should be a few more maps. Like they should be releasing a map at least I would say 2 to 3 every season. I feel like that's reasonable. New
Fully
maps,
agree.
okay? Okay. I feel like that's reasonable. But other than that, like I feel like the battle pass, some of the stuff is cool. I feel like that they've lowered the prices. They are listening. You're gaining experience. I'm already like level 18 or something. I'm gonna be done with this in a month, not even a month. And buried underneath all this negativity, the game is fun to play. Why isn't that good enough? Even though Bubble Boy, you did say earlier this week that you want that incentive to play, kind of. And that's kind of what Paris was saying because he's a Destiny person. But why
It's
isn't
not my
anymore, you guys?
only incentive. I'm just saying, like, it would really be the cherry on top for me if
Yeah,
you could take all those cool things and customize them however you want.
I agree. And I feel like that's coming. But my thing is like people are hating on Halo so much. But guys, this is a great game at its bones, like a fantastic shooter that feels so good to play. And I
Well,
hate
and
that all this negativity is on the battle pass and the mess. It's like, guys, what happened to? Well, why would I even play if I'm already 100 in the back? You play to have fun in games. Like that's what frustrates me. It's like
so
this game
that
is awesome, buried underneath all of this negativity. I can't. That's what's frustrating me so much. Go ahead, Bubble
it
Boy.
was a
Sorry.
really cool time to play it because I had just finished, or I just finished today, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, right? And so I had gotten used to those controls, and I had gotten used to the graphics and all that kind of stuff, and then jumping into Halo, and it was like, oh boy, yeah, no, this is precision. This is how you do a shooter, and that's not what Tiny Tina's is. It's not what it was trying to be, but man, you can tell a difference, and it was immediate. And the sound was a big part that I was like, holy cow, this is. It's just so much more detailed and finely tuned in every single way. The Jose was talking about user interface earlier. Oh my goodness, like we do take it for granted. I think games have gotten so good that any little thing that isn't perfect, people are going to complain about. So,
Okay, Jose, let's jump to you in a second here. You haven't given us your thoughts on season two. I don't know if you've played much of it, but I did want to quickly say, guys, the music is banger after banger. That multiplayer music is incredible. Love it all. I'm gonna buy those tracks just to listen to them while I work out and get my pump on. So, Jose, give me your thoughts on season two here, because have you been able to jump into? Did you play Last Spartan Standing?
So I have played
I think you played,
exactly
right?
one game of Last Spartan Standing, and here's why. It has nothing to do with Halo. I don't have any complaints. I'll talk about some of the criticism in a second, but realistically, what happened was it got released earlier this week. I did the update. And on because I don't have Walmart connection, it downloaded in like 2 minutes. So I downloaded it, installed it, and played one game, and I got destroyed absolutely because the guys in it clearly knew what they were doing. I didn't. It was my first game, but I was really intrigued by it, and then I had to go cook dinner, and so I just things were busy with my kids and at school and just like events, and I went to go play literally last night, and I couldn't because Xbox services were down. And I don't know how Dan was on because I know he was streaming. I actually watched his stream for a little bit, but I couldn't play. And then I ended up watching Halo anyway. I'm excited to jump in. The first thing I did, like you guys, I went and looked through all the battle pass. I want to see what all the things were. I think there's some cool stuff in there. Again, the same way I felt about Warzone, where Warzone, that is part of the fun that you get different aesthetic things to add and change and make your guy unique. I really like that piece of it. I do fully agree with Dan. I think they could release, excuse me, maps a little bit more often. I mean, I like what they're doing with these two. I'm excited for this season and adding them into the rotation, but a map, I would like more of those. In terms of the criticism, though, I think you're both right. People are just so hard on Halo, and it's a good thing, right? It's because they love it. They want
It
it to
just
do
seems so
well.
weird. Yeah,
But
like
it's
I feel like particularly
but here's
hard
what's
on
so I
Halo.
think about it this way. So you think about
Nobody's talking about Battlefield.
well, okay, that's not a good comparison. The way that I compared it was
it's
like
because that game just
How is that not a good comparison? That franchise, you guys. I had that as my number one multiplayer experience of all time. I believe on one of our lists, like multiplayer games,
yeah,
like
but that
Battlefield Bad
was
Company. I
Bad
spent
Co.
so many
That
hours
was how
in
many
that.
years ago? Yeah,
But
like
still, that's the same franchise. How is that different from Halo?
But no,
Like the Halo's been along that long
listen to
too.
my
because
argument.
we gave up on Battlefield back
Okay, go
hardline
ahead.
times.
Sorry.
No, here's my
Hardline,
argument.
great
So I was
campaign.
comparing
Amy
it to,
Hennig wrote
because
that.
of the competitions. What's the Halo League? I just can't think of the letters right now. What's the Halo League that's going on right now?
Halo Championship
Thank
Series.
you, HCS, Halo Championship
Halo
Series.
Championship Series.
Right.
HCS.
So, but compare that to like Overwatch or League of Legends or Dota, right? Like the other big competitive games. Like let's use Overwatch because that's a more modern one. Overwatch hasn't appreciably changed in a long time. They've added a couple new characters, but people still they don't nearly crap on it the same way that they do on Halo. That's just fascinating to me because I agree with both of you that like the controls are tight, the game is fun. They fixed the matchmaking. That was our biggest complaint for the longest time was the matchmaking, and now matchmaking is super fast and clean. They have come out and said recently that I guess there was a bunch of stuff with launch issues with the service side of it, not the content, but the service side. And that's actually what I think has been the most incredible part of it for 303 or 343. Not that they shouldn't be criticized, because if you mess up, you should be. That's part of what you're doing out there. But that they've been so transparent with their information, because that is so not common in a lot of games. Like
I really appreciate the
they
transparency.
have been so good about like Twitter and Instagram and their website and the Halo Infinite website, the Waypoint blog. Like they're like, we hear you. We messed this up. We're fixing it. We're working on this. Like that, I think is really, really impressive, and I hope that they continue it. I think they will. I don't have a reason to think that they won't, but I'm hoping that over time people will just come back to really appreciate that, because that's just not normal, unfortunately, in a lot of realms with games. So overall, loving it. Excited to get back into it and play it, especially as school comes to an end here in a couple weeks, and I can really just like hunker down and get into the season. And like we said last show, and this is my last thought, I don't feel stressed about the battle pass. I did feel like that in season 1, where I was like, oh God, because I'm not as good of a gamer. Like I'm not planning on getting a lot of dubs in Last Man Standing on my own. I was such in a hurry. I got to get to the end of the battle pass, got to get to, and then I got there so quickly and I was like, oh, what was I worried about? I don't feel that same stress in season 2, where I'm just like, oh, I'll play when I want to play. And when I have time, I'm going to finish other games and I will get there eventually. And I like that feeling a lot.
And you'll always be able to, because they don't expire. Bubble Boy, any final thoughts, or do you want me to close this up? I have a final. Okay, so I'll end it here, guys. Halo Infinite is a great game. The great multiplayer shooter. It is a great game. I hope things turn around. I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is. Whenever I go play, I have fun. And I also rage a lot. I was raging hardcore. I'm glad none of you stopped by my stream last night, because I was freaking the F out at points, because there is a skill gap there, and there you do have to either get good or you're going to get dominated. So I love Halo, and I'll end it with this. Joseph Staten wrote this on his Twitter just on Happy Cinco de Mayo over there. He said to everyone, all of our Latino listeners, hey, Spartans, this week has been bumpy. That definitely wasn't our goal. We are indeed taking your feedback to heart, especially regarding map jumps and speedrunning. We didn't talk about that. There's some changes to jumping. They're probably going to revert it. We're reviewing options and we'll have more news to come. Note, some of you may wonder, does he even read the replies? Yes, I do. I'm reading every single one of them on this thread, so please keep the constructive feedback coming. And I had to write in. I said, thanks for everything you and the team have done for the game. Underneath all the criticism is an incredibly fun, well-made, well-balanced arena shooter. We all want Halo to succeed. Just keep growing, taking feedback, being transparent, which they're doing a great job of, and add the Battle Royale mode. #see you on
Perfect.